The ROCD officially started a couple weeks into my relationship,
Okay.
which was about 4 years ago now. So it was a little while back. And met this really wonderful guy just out of the blue. And really was at a point in my life where I had just gotten out of a pretty bad relationship.
Mhm.
And not just had, it'd been within about a year past, but still was like a really, it was a pretty traumatic time. And I was in a really good spot. I was feeling great and just was not necessarily interested in pursuing like a relationship with
Mhm.
somebody. But yeah, I met this wonderful person and we just clicked really immediately. Everything kind of fell into place. And yeah, it was probably within the first couple of weeks that I started having intrusive thoughts.
Mhm.
Mostly like, this isn't meant to work out. Nothing is supposed to happen. It was like
Mhm.
a big one that really stuck with me for a long time
Mm.
for
Mhm.
some reason.
Mhm.
And then as we, really progressed in a relationship together and spending more time together, it turned into like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
Like this, something's not right here, like you need to go.
Yeah.
And it really became really urgent. And I've always been a really anxious person, and I realized
Mhm.
looking back now that I had OCD in the past, but the
Mhm.
themes were super different.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't identifying it as something like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, like this is OCD, and I know that I have this, and so then I can like not
Right.
rationalize it, excuse me, but like work through it. So it turned into like massive anxiety from there, and like a lot of physical symptoms. So yeah, just uncomfortability, shaking, panic attacks,
Yeah.
generally.
Just the
Uh,
physical symptoms of kind of
yeah,
anxiety. And
yeah.
kind of right before you go forward, I love what you're saying. When you said that you experienced some obsessive compulsive tendencies before, what would they kind of latch onto?
My biggest fears, whatever was
So
like,
anything. Okay.
yeah, whatever was pertinent to me in that moment. When I was really young, I think it focused maybe around like hypochondria,
Yeah. Yep.
things of like
Hmm.
getting sick, or something being wrong with my body that
Yeah.
was like irreversible or,
Yes.
terminal. And then it turned into like I had this crazy fear about being pregnant for a long
Yes.
time.
You're
Like,
right.
and I was like just obsessive, completely and utterly obsessive about that.
Yes.
And looking back on it, being able to identify it now is really kind of, it's humorous now. At the time, it was terrifying.
Terrifying, terrifying. But it's so
But
fascinating how anxiety and obsessive compulsive tendencies can really latch onto anything. It doesn't have to be,
yeah,
anything in
yeah,
specific. It can be anything that you are terrified of
yeah,
experiencing. Yeah.
yeah. And I noticed that within my journey of ROCD too, of like having the themes flip around quite
Yep.
frequently, depending on like
Absolutely.
if I kind of gotten past one thing, then something else would come up.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it was a rough couple of years, with a lot of ups and downs, and like usually worse around big life changes,
Hmm.
moving in together, getting a new job. Like I
Yes.
jobs a couple times, and that was always a little more stressful. Uh,
Yes.
but yeah, it kind of reached a peak this past summer, the summer of 2018, when I still didn't realize what was going on, and we, again had just moved, and was kind of like a rough transition time.
Yeah. Yep. It's the
Hmm.
transitions and the uncertainty that kind of can bring up the anxiety of trying to find control.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you stumble upon getting help? When did that start?
That was in October of 2018, so
Okay.
almost 6 months ago now. And I was really just at a point of like performing compulsions with like internet searching.
Mm-hmm.
And I had woken up because I was like, I think this seems to be rather common for people too, but I was waking up with anxiety.
Yeah.
Like I was having intrusive thoughts, like the very first thought that I had in my
Yes.
most
Yes.
intrusive, and was
Absolutely.
awful.
Yes.
So I was spending some time maybe not being able to sleep properly, and getting up early in the morning. So I think I don't remember what the magic words were that I Googled, but it came up, I think, with your page in your course, or maybe a YouTube video, in relation to
Yeah. Yeah.
that. So.
Awesome. So that's kind of where it started. So you didn't know what
Mhm.
RCD was before that, but you knew that you had obsessive compulsive tendencies and anxiety, but you never heard of RCD before.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that I had obsessive compulsive tendencies
Right.
at
Right.
all. Like, I knew I had really bad anxiety and that I
Right.
had been connected to different things, I started realizing that there was a pattern that like the feeling was the same.
Yes.
The feeling was the same, but the themes had changed. Like it was different circumstances.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's where people can really get stuck almost. It's like, okay, well, this was different. You know, I thought about this and I thought about this, which is different, but they don't recognize that underlying the same type of behaviors in a lot of ways, and the same thing that, you know, feeds it is the same. Yeah. So then I'm assuming then you started the course in October. Was it when you started? Is it sometime then?
I think it was actually in November. It took a couple of months. I was still doing a lot of research, just in general, and trying to kind of figure out if that was what was going on, because it really resonated and hit home when I had first discovered it. But then, of course, it's always like, well, that's probably not it. You know what I mean? Like my brain tried to like catastrophize farther. So it was in November, I think, that I signed up for the course.
Awesome. So I know that you were such a big help in terms of the community. I mean, I remember your posts, and I remember, you know, reading them and feeling, oh my gosh, she's so wise with how introspective you are, and also the support that you were giving to other people. So I'm actually curious for you too, of what do you think was, or what did you, I guess, enjoy about, I don't want to say enjoy, because I don't know if it's like enjoying is a word, but what did you feel was helpful for you in terms of the course? And also, I guess we'll start with the course and then we'll go with the community. What do you think what was helpful for the course?
That's perfect, because I started the course before I got on the community. I'd actually been off of Facebook for a long time. And so I signed back up specifically so I could be a part of the community. And the course was fantastic. I kind of finished the material as quickly as I could. And whenever a new module would release, I would pop that open and work through it. Just the basic knowledge, especially of just relationships in general, and what's normal and what's not. And I don't think I had like a really clear picture previously of what a healthy relationship looked like or felt like. And so just coming to grips with some of that, and then realizing that it's all like internally reflective. It's all, you know, meant to like make you turn inward and figure out like your own wounds and you know, the things that you need to like work on. So those were probably the most, you know, beneficial things that I took right from the beginning.
Awesome. And then we'll go to the next one, the community, because I know you're pretty active in the community too. What do you think was helpful for that?
I love the lack of reassurance seeking that was going on, because a lot of the other forums or things that I had found weren't moderated very well. And so that just leads to people going off on tangents, and I don't think that's super helpful. So the rate at which you guys allow, you know, people to post and things that you allow people to post about is really beneficial. But just to be connected to like a bunch of other people who are going through your same situation, being able to realize that there is just a big group of others who are experiencing it with you, and you're not alone, obviously.
Absolutely. It's so comforting with that. Awesome. Okay, so let's see. The other thing I wanted to ask was, what do you think were your takeaways just in terms of like with the course, in terms of like what you're applying to your life now? Like, do you think you're applying to any of those tools in your life aside from ROCD?
Oh, definitely. It's really funny because I see, and it's kind of in talking to other people in my family too, or friends who are going through different situations in their relationships, and being able to recognize, especially like just on the general therapy level of like catastrophic thinking, black and white thinking, different, you know, the ruminations about stuff. All of that's super helpful to just kind of start to train your brain. It's literally is just rewiring your brain, which is a very strange thing to do. And at one point I didn't think that it was a possibility. But.
It's amazing how possible it is. And it's like, you know, that there's what you described, like there's so many wounds that are there that kind of prevent us from being able to rewire it faster. Of course, it takes time anyway to rewire, but it's kind of like, okay, what's here that's blocking me? Oh, it's that black or white thinking, you know, or it's that catastrophic thinking, or it's the magical thinking that can come up too. But I know with my experience too, you know, with ROCD, you know, that cognitive behavioral work can be so helpful with ROCD, but just like you said, like, oh, my friend is really thinking black or white right now, or, you know, she's really catastrophizing something. So that's great. That's so, so, so great.
Yeah,
So
it's
awesome.
been really extensive into all other parts of my life because it really it's. I think people are struggling with a range of kind of mental, issues
Yeah.
as far as like ROCD, depression, anxiety. Like a lot of them, they just like tie in together so tightly that
Yeah.
it's good to have like a nice solid foundation for
Yeah.
being understand where your brain should be.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely. I agree. Okay, so where are you now in the journey with everything? And what would you, I guess we'll start with where you're now in the journey after doing the course and everything like that.
Yeah. Amazingly, I am now at a point where like I think of my OCD as like it's a side note now.
Yes.
Not it's not ruling my life. I have a
Yeah.
lot more time.
Yes.
Fantastic. So I feel like I'm actually getting more done and being more productive.
Yeah.
But I'm also spending that time with myself. I'm still focusing on like figuring out self-care and
Yeah.
routines and
Yes.
just trying to slowly integrate those habits into my day to day so that it's a lifestyle
Yes.
for me. So that's what I've been working on still. And like it was funny, like last night, for instance, I was kind of thinking about this, interview coming up today, and there was like just a little like spark, just a little like one little thought that came through, and I was just like, oh yeah, you're totally, that's right. Like it just agreed with it
Yeah.
entirely. And
Yeah.
it's amazing how when you really do the work, that stuff can really go away in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Mm-hmm.
so happy to be on the other side of it. It's
Yeah.
really spectacular. 2 or even 3 months ago, I wouldn't really have seen that potential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I know that there's people here who are like desperately seeking hope and who are desperately wanting some sort of an idea that, and you said already that, you have more time with your life. It's not ruling your life
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But I guess if you could offer some sort of hope for people who may be watching this, who are like in the beginning stages of like exactly how you were in the beginning stage of ROCD, is there anything that you would say to them?
Oh, yeah, there's so many things. Don't have time for all of them. I would just say be patient. Overall, just be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with your circumstances, and very gentle. And then just try to cut your compulsions out. That's really, at least for me, I found was like that's how everything keeps cycling. And then
Mhm.
like you focus on a lot too, especially recently, is like the relapsing
Yeah.
always feels like a big deal because it
Yes.
really is like a roller coaster. Like you'll have really wonderful days, and then you think that everything's great, and then you'll be right back to where you feel like you're back to to where you were in the beginning,
Yes.
and it's not the case.
Yeah.
It really is. You're retraining your brain on an chemical level,
Yes.
and it takes a while. It takes a
Yes.
while, so you just have to
Yes.
stick in there with it. But it's amazing because there really is, I believe, a life on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And if you're here and you're looking for help, like I think that you can have a really beautiful relationship all the way
Mhm.
through it, and even better on the other side. I know a lot of the lessons I've learned just through the coursework about what a healthy relationship is, has been super beneficial. And we keep those going in the relationship
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Hmm.
Someone said something the other day where they were saying that, even looking back in the phases of when they were experiencing ROCD, yes, it was really painful, but there was still so much like, love and deepness within the relationship, even though there was a lot of pain. And looking back, someone was saying that, they were still really grateful for that learning together within the relationship or just
Hmm.
working through it and going through layers.
Oh, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much of that, and to be able to really sit with yourself in those moments where you're having that extreme anxiety, like
Yeah.
they're kind of breakthroughs where you're
Yes.
sitting there, you're not allowing yourself to do anything about it, and it just feels like you're being engulfed.
Yes.
And then on the other side of that, like once you hit this threshold, I don't know how to describe it, but it's very relieving and very deep and welcoming and loving.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I think it really is about the inner work, and I do see it as an opportunity now on the other end of it to really help myself to learn how to cultivate a really long-term and healthy, lasting relationship
Yes.
that we're both happy in. You know,
Yes.
a lot of us are coming from a place where we didn't have that modeled to us. We didn't have the examples set for how that would work. And so
Mhm.
it's just about building a new framework for it. And it works really well.
Yeah, absolutely.